In this day and age, trying to find a decent guy at a bar or a club or even at work has been failing for me. So I tried to go for the more 21st century way. I opted to try online dating. More specifically, I tried out Tinder. Now, let me begin by saying I do have some expectations when deciding who I swipe left or who I swipe right to. It's pretty simple, just don't be a catfish, be able to carry a conversation, be nice, and yeah, it helps if you're attractive. After a couple hours of swiping, I matched with this 22-year-old guy named Stavo. He lived a very exciting life, and I say that with as much sarcasm as possible. This guy worked at his family's morgue, and he was the guy doing the graveyard shifts, and actually, since I'm kind of an insomniac, it kind of worked out perfect. We would talk on the phone all night, bonding over Game of Thrones theories, fun facts, or some lame dad jokes he'd always tell. On the rare occasion, if I were home alone, he would tell me these really scary stories that would keep me up until the early hours of the morning. Eventually, all those phone calls and text messages led to meeting up in person at a coffee shop. The first date actually went really well. He was actually very respectful, which is a nice change for once. For our second date, he decided to cook me dinner at his apartment. When I got there, I was actually really impressed. The food looked amazing. The meat was covered in this seasoning that was sweet and spicy at the same time. Then he cracked open a bottle of wine and he said, "To Tinder," and I replied, "To Tinder." I took a bite of the meat and honestly was really disappointed. It looked a lot better than it tasted. Luckily, I mixed it in with the potatoes and vegetables and it was edible. But I watched as Stavo just poked around at his food and didn't take a single bite. "Not hungry?" I asked, dabbing the corners of my mouth with a napkin. He just smiled and said, "I don't usually eat what I cook." When I got home that night, my stomach was killing me. I just stayed lying in bed, tossing and turning. Eventually, I ended up at the hospital. The doctors ran some tests on me to see what I had ingested in the past 24 hours that could have made me so sick. What they finally told me just wanted to make me hurl even more. They told me that I had ingested pieces of human remains. So yeah, that's why I'm a vegetarian now.